mindful of a conversation, several conversations I've had with Mr. Graff, in which he says that we should be not allowing past issues to influence the right decision before us now. And with acknowledgement that Mr. Crane's frustration over that we're here, this could have taken place long before this. The fact is that we need to do make the right decision now.
And I would like to add that I did bring this before you a couple months ago to change that location, to spend this money at the site that we're talking about, and it didn't get through at that point. So we have brought this before. This isn't the first time.
Councilmember Landis. Oh, did you have another follow-up?
No.
Well, I heard, first of all, I want to appreciate staff's responsiveness to the state of emergency with water in our community. I think it's a very important thing to be paying attention to, and I think we all want some kind of expedient response so that we preserve the, availability of water for people here. But I think that the need for data to make sure that we don't spend money imprudently and end up with dry wells, I mean, it just seems to me so important. And if we have a little bit of leeway between the July 1st completion date and the August 1st when you would ideally like to have the water available, that seems to me to allow a time period for a little bit of exploration to confirm. Well, I heard you say that you thought it could be up and running by July 1st, but you ideally would like to have it available by August 1st.
Well,
I heard two different dates.
Right. Actually, I mean, I think that, my preference would be to try to get it, and what I was originally hoping to do would be able to get it online by June, because our water demand starts to significantly increase toward the end of May and getting into June. But what we have here, I don't know if you can see that schedule that's in the package. It didn't reproduce very well, but this is a pretty aggressive schedule, and this is without any of the constraints associated with a formal bidding process. I mean, it does allow for going out for bid, but it's a very shortened time frame. So because of the amount of time that's required for doing the actual work and the design, even shortening up the bid, we're still looking at a month past what I think would be where we needed to have a well online. I mean, I would have felt a lot more comfortable if we could have gotten one on in June. This schedule is telling us even the best case scenario, and as Tim has said, even if everything goes exactly right and we don't run into any problems or any hiccups, this schedule is telling us that we're looking at July. And anything that pushes that out even further than that is just going to be a difficult, it's hard to know what the impact of that's going to be the further you push this time frame out. Now, having said that, like I had said previously, there is technology out there that's, gives you information relatively quickly, and I understand council's concern about, and believe me, I share it, about using this money prudently and doing everything that we can for the money we spend to end up with water. And so, I think that, one of the things that, because if we were to follow this schedule and issue an RFB tomorrow and have it out for bid for 10 days, there might be some time within that, without impacting the schedule, to be able to contact a geotechnical company and see about getting a test that would help us to know if we were moving in the right direction. Because if we were to do the test and the test were to come up, that there isn't any water down there, even though everything else is telling us, all the other data that we have is telling us that this is a good place to drill, then I think that we could still change direction with minimal, I hope, minimal impact to this schedule. So, I think that that's a very reasonable thing to do, and I think it's a very prudent thing to do. But, having said that, one of the things that one of the conditions that we find ourselves in that we couldn't have anticipated is being in the third year of a 3-year drought. Having the governor declare, having the situation be so bad that the governor declares an emergency, a state of emergency due to the water drought situation. That's very serious. And then receiving this letter from the State Water Resources Control Board. I've never seen a letter like this. And you've got the Deputy Director for Water Rights telling everyone your surface water rights may not help you this summer. The situation is so bad that that may not be enough. And she's saying, here it is in February, end of February, she's saying, if you can find a groundwater source, get it, because you're probably going to need it this summer. If you can find a groundwater source, that's where you need to be putting your efforts. And from everything that we know about the wells that we have and the well siting study that we've done, the places that we have available to drill, Gobi and Orchard is the most likely to have the kind of water we're looking for, and it's the most likely to meet the criteria for groundwater.
Okay, Councilmember Roden.
I find myself in a difficult position because Councilmember Crane is advocating for, tell me if I misunderstood, but that we should do some tests. We should do some more tests before we sink 100 and whatever it is, that $30,000 or something into this test well, that we should do some borings, correct?
I think that if we can get that work done immediately, that we should do that work.
And staff
I'm not
is
saying derail this process. We need the well. I support the idea of the well and have supported the idea of the well. I don't know, I don't think there's anybody that knows for certain what exists at that or any other location where there isn't a well, what's at 200 feet.
Councilmember Crane, I want to go back to your questions for staff and your comments.
Yeah, so, because I'm not a hydrogeologist, even though I look like one.
What?
And I think it would be nice if you could, if staff, either of you could respond directly to the suggestions that he's making. And this wouldn't be a personal thing. It's just we're talking about water and your professional opinion and your professional opinion. And you respond, and even if you disagree, it would be okay for you to say that. And, you know, if you disagree with what they say, to please say why you disagree, because otherwise it's not something that I can intuit who's right here. I just want the best, most scientific answer that both of you can produce so that I can try and make an informed decision. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm just asking you to please respond frankly to what he's saying and vice versa.
Yeah,
I think that staff already has
Well,
by
just that it's
saying.
an emergency and that we don't have, is
Well,
that we don't have time to?
What I'm hearing is that Councilmember Crane wants to see us take some actions in addition to preparing for the well. And we're saying, yes, we can do that.
yeah, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea, because we don't want to spend money unnecessarily. You know, if we do this test and there's nothing there, you know, then of course, I mean, that's the right direction to go. My only concern is the time constraints, but like I said, I think that, you know, providing that the equipment is available and we can get, you know, whoever you know, whatever company is available that has this equipment, if we can get them here and get that test run, you know, concurrently with going out for bid, I
Okay.
totally am in agreement with that we need to do that. And I don't think there's, I mean,
Okay.
I don't have any problem with anything that Councilmember Crane has said. I totally agree with it.
Okay, okay, so they aren't, and so
No.
if we